all about Ove. What are your views on the growing world of technology around us?
I don't understand any of this new technology. We don't need it, and it isn't a trusting product. I've always been taught to do things on my own. I believe that people should do things for themselves and not use technology.
What kept you motivated to stick to your daily morning routines and checks?
I've always been a man of routines and strict plans. Some may say I'm crazy, but I enjoy all that I do. I guess in a way the routines reminded me of my life with Sonia because I did them when we were married. So I wanted to remember that. Also, I wanted the neighborhood and community I lived in to be the way I want it, safe.
How did your young working life affect your future?
I learned many things working on the railroad, some good and some that would make me stronger in the future. An example would be that there was this man at the railroad who hated me and my father. One day he accused me of stealing money. I didn't want to accuse him and cause him to lose his job, so I lost my job. I was devastated, but because I lost my job then, I met the love of my life.
Who was the most influential person in your life growing up?
The person who influenced me the most growing up was my father. After my mother died, I went to work on the railroad with my father every day. My father taught me responsibility, how to love, and many other lessons in the short amount of time we had together. Everything I value now is because of him.
How did you get through the tough situations in your life?
I always had Sonia by my side to get me through the tough times. We fought everything in the world side by side. When Sonia died, I didn't know how to handle the tough situations anymore. It was different and hard to figure out. With the help of my neighborhood and the community I love so much, I was able to be strong and get through my sadness.
Did you and Sonia ever think about starting a family?
All my life I wanted a family and someone to love. After finding Sonia, all I worked for was building a family. We tried to have our own family, but something happened and we couldn't. Once Sonia was no longer with me, I longed for that feeling of family and love. The young couple that moved in across the street brought the feeling back to me and showed me what it was like to have a family.
All about Puranova.
How did you meet Ove?
The first time I met Ove, it wasn't the best situation. My husband, who isn't the best at parking a car, was trying to move our trailer. He ended up running into Ove's flower bed and then straight into his mailbox. So our first impression wasn't the best. I kept going to Ove's house to bring cookies or to borrow tools since we had just moved. I wanted to get to know my neighbor.
How did moving into the neighborhood affect your life?
Moving into the neighborhood affected my life in many ways. I was able to learn how to drive because Ove, my neighbor, offered to teach me. The community of people in my neighborhood gave me a new perspective on family. They showed me that family doesn't have to be who you are related to. Family can be anyone who truly loves and cares for you. The neighborhood turned into my family, and that changed my life for the better.
How did moving into the neighborhood affect your children's life?
After moving, the children didn't really have anyone besides my husband and I. They immediately attached to our neighbor Ove. They would draw him pictures and ask to see him all the time. After a while, they started to call him Grandpa, which showed how much they have grown since moving into the neighborhood. I would not have picked any other place for them to grow up. The neighborhood has changed their lives in so many positive ways.
Was it difficult learning how to drive?
Learning to drive was very challenging and scary, especially with the teacher I had. Ove, my neighbor, decided to teach me how to drive. We had a few rough lessons, but we always figured it out. For example, one time I stalled the car and started panicking, but Ove gave me a pep talk and we kept going. I really enjoy driving now. It gives me a lot of freedom.
Why did you lie to Ove about not being able to keep the cat?
One day, a few of us in the neighborhood found this cat in the snow and saved it. Everyone wanted me to keep it, but I knew someone needed a companion more than me. I told Ove that we were allergic to cats and that he was going to have to keep the cat. I knew that Ove was struggling to be happy and I thought the cat would help him. I'm glad I lied to Ove because the cat is now his best friend.
Was it scary moving with children and being pregnant?
Moving is always a stressful experience, but being pregnant didn't help the situation. I was scared being in a new neighborhood and not knowing anyone, but I was also excited because we would get to form new relationships. Having my husband and children around helped make the move a lot easier. They are the best. Also, the loving community we moved into, minus a few situations with Ove, made the move go very smoothly.